Science infusion yesterday. One of the guys at hospital this every year. I think he's a 40-year-old, he's in his wife's a boy scale. So she breathes. Your grandma's resident. Or just.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the December 19th Board of Commissioner meeting to order. Today we'll have the prayer by Commissioner Heberling and the pledge by Commissioner Ehart.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the season of Christmas and for the meaning of Christmas. And Lord, as we go through our BOC meeting today and through our Finance Committee meeting, we ask, Lord, that you guide and direct us, help us to make the right decisions. We ask this in your name, and we give you the honor and the glory and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard,
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling,
Here.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella,
Here.
District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee,
Present.
District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart,
Here.
and District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're
At this time, we have two additions to our agenda, FA 022-23 and FA 064-23 on the standing colored sheet. I'll entertain a motion to adopt today's agenda with the two add-ons.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard to adopt the agenda as presented. I have support from Commissioner Heberling. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from December 5th.
I'll make a motion. Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberling, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You would receive correspondence from Jody through email the other day. We will move into commissioner reports and we will start with Commissioner Ballard.
Okay, on the 7th, I attended the Argyle Township meeting, really just normal business there. Last night I was at Vermont Township. They did swear in a new clerk and deputy clerk. I didn't get their names. They were kind of busy talking. Let's see, I think that's it for that. No committees.
Thank you, Roger. Gary?
Hey, this past month I've attended a Watertown Township meeting. Last night I attended the Sandusky City Council, and earlier last week I attended Moortown Township. And then I just give a couple things that took place in a Moortown Township meeting. For probably the last year and a half, I've been asked to help come up with a blinking light at 46 and 19. And so I did talk to MDOT quite a few times. And the lady I talked to, she said the criteria was there had to be, I think, 7 fatalities or accidents there within the last 10 years. And obviously that didn't happen. A fatality is a fatality, right? She did agree that she would get with DTE. And I did get an email from her 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. And she gave me the contact name and who to get a hold of and how to get it put in place. So I shared that with Moortown Township. So it does look like if Moore Township elected officials follow through with that recommendation and information by MDOT, they can get a all-night light there. And because it's at the crossroads of Elmer Township and Moore Township, there will be a bill comes once a month with electricity. So they've taken that, they're going to run with it, and we'll find out later how that works out in the report on it. Last night, I attended the Sandusky City Council meeting, and some for the new business. Their 2/24 meeting dates are going to stay the same, the first and third Monday of each month. I believe in January meeting, they're going to, wait, got that right here. They're going to appoint, make their appointments. And then they're one other thing, they rented the Diamond Trail out to the right to life early in January. And there was some other things not significant enough to bring to the meeting, but all good meetings. And we'll start next month with township meetings again. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you,
I'm
Gary.
surprised these two are not at the basketball.
Business. This is their excuse to not be at the basketball.
Yeah, I
game.
see that.
I like the basketball game. Yes.
Bill, your commissioner report, please.
Bridgerhampton Township, they're spending up the rest of their ARPA money. And they had a Board of Appeals discussion as well. Port Sanilac passed their audit. And they wrapped up their master plan. They have a new trustee now, so they're up to 3 new board members there, and they're working on a rental ordinance as well. Washington Township did a ditch improvement with the road commission and one of their residents, and their parking lot has been done. So now they have a nice paid parking lot, and they're working on their ARPA funding as well. And then Sanilac Township still discussing CFA, moving forward with that in a positive way, working on a rental ordinance and their ARPA funds as well. And all the master plans and the ordinance guides are distributed. And also Sanilac Township had a moment or a remembrance for Charlie Basler, who was a long time township treasurer in the community and served on the school board as well for many years. So instead of having a moment of silence, everybody told some Charlie stories, because he always was a guy with a joke. If you saw him, he had a joke for you every time. So it was a good remembrance. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Christine?
I went to the Maple Valley Township meeting and they got their new internet installed in their hall and they're quite excited about that. And they're looking for projects for their ARPA funds. Flint Township had their meeting and business was as usual, nothing major going on there. That's it for them.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Last week I was busy. I was in Deckerville on Monday night, Delaware Township on Tuesday night. Wednesday I did Austin Township and the village of Forestville. And then Thursday I was in Minden City. All pretty standard stuff that I saw in those meetings. I distributed the guidebook and the master plan from the county. The villages, because it doesn't pertain to them quite as much, but the townships are all, the conversation really revolved around the state takeover of zoning and the issues related to that. So it's certainly a concern of the municipalities in the county out there. That's all I have for the commission.
John, if I can say one thing, Nathan sent us a notice for a webinar coming up June 11th for
January, right?
January 11th, I believe, on that Act 233 that governor put in place. So I want everybody aware of that. So
Yeah, again, the legislation created more questions than it did answers. So there's a lot of people wondering, how is this going to roll out? Even with the information that we get next year, we're really not going to know how it's actually going to go until the first townships and counties get squeezed through the legal system pertaining to this. So it's something we'll keep an eye on for sure. And we'll be discussing at length next year also, I'm sure.
yeah, thank you, Nathan, for sending that out. I sent it to our townships and made more of it.
That will conclude my commissioner report. Evans?
I had no meetings since the last meeting.
Okay, very good.
I
John?
have none either. I have 2 this.
Okay. Well, that'll conclude our commissioner reports. I appreciate everyone's report. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Perfect. Thank you. With this administrator's report, with it being our last meeting of the year, I kind of wanted to take a little different approach and look at a little year-end wrap-up and some of the highlights of the year. I wanted to start off by saying that it's been a very enjoyable experience working with this board. At the beginning of the year, I was curious what challenges would occur in moving to a 7-member board with 3 new board members. Every one of you has done a great job of working together, maintaining the focus of the principles and priorities of a board. You've been efficient and effective in making decisions regarding policies, budgeting, county development, and more, all while balancing the best interests of those inside these county buildings and the public of our county. I know many administrators and managers who are envious of this board and how you all work together to handle matters within this county. You have a strong understanding of a board's role and don't stray into things that you do not need to, which is appreciated by not only myself and as well as all the staff in this county. As it pertains to accomplishments within the county this year. First off, ARPA dollars. Some of the highlights were that we were able to replace outdated heating systems in the courthouse and the health department buildings, which is currently in its final stages at the health department. We were able to pay off a medical care facility loan, which saved taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential interest. There were upgrades to law enforcement equipment, including weapons and body cameras. upgrades to security cameras around the courthouse, including an updated camera system with additional cameras both inside and outside the facility. The addition of card reader door swipes on all non-public offices. Other improvements. The county addressed necessary upgrades to motor pool, replacing 2 vehicles that were over 10 years old and not suitable for use anymore, by purchasing a new vehicle for building and grounds department and a new vehicle for the motor pool. Also approved the juvenile court to apply for a grant to purchase a transport vehicle for juveniles. Upgraded the recycling center drop-off lot, replacing gravel with cement for a cleaner and safer drop site. Also approved for a new forklift and garage door at the facility. Replaced flooring in the first floor women's courthouse restroom that was in desperate need of repair. Approved replacement of county website to be transitioned to a more modern and user-friendly site that will hopefully be rolled out here in 2024. Work was done to finalize the county master plan, providing a roadmap for the county, including the roadmap for the townships and the municipalities. As a spinoff of the master plan, guidebooks were developed to provide townships with solar and wind zoning resolutions to protect the county. You adopted a resolution opposing the Camp Grayling expansion, a resolution opposing preempting a local control of wind and solar developments, and a resolution opposing the statewide septic inspections. Employee pay scale improvements. You approved the creation of a public safety wage scale system that aligned all positions on a uniform growth pattern, which helped place wages in a more competitive position and remove large discrepancies in salary growth. Approved pay scale modifications for the prosecuting attorneys and referees in the county, aligning them in a better market standing, and revised county clerk, register of deeds, treasurer, and drain commissioner wage scale, placing them on the same scale along with many other counties, making those wages more competitive in the market. County parks. Approved proposed upgrades to the Forster Park Playground, addition to the Lexington Park Maintenance Garage, Evergreen Park Sewer Extension Project, and an addition to the Lexington Park Manager's Residence. Sheriff's Office. Approval of a new water softener system at the jail, replacement and purchase of new patrol and transport vehicles and a new trailer. New Sheriff's Department app for the public. Approval and purchase of body scanner for jail inmates, and a new lawnmower for the work crew to mow foreclosed properties for the treasurer's office. In closing, I wanted to thank all our elected officials, department heads, staff, and partners who make our county successful. When you look at these highlights, I do not believe these things would be possible without the tremendous level of collaboration our county leaders have. Our county has great people who have a desire for our county to thrive, and the collaboration we show benefits the county, both staff and residents alike. Lastly, a special thank you to our staff in dispatch, corrections, and road patrol who operate a 24-hour schedule where, regardless of weather, holidays, or any other occurrence, they operate their department to keep our county safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice, Nathan. It was a good read. Is that why we're so tired?
It's funny, you get looking back at things and it's like, there's a lot of very positive things that went on through the year. So I just wanted to highlight those, and obviously a lot of department heads put a lot of work into bringing things to you guys, but you review and approve things that make our county better. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Nathan with his report? Hearing none. Before we move into public comments, I'm going to invite Cole Wood with our Congresswoman Lisa McLean to give us a legislative update. Cole, if you would. Yeah, sorry, that got shoved out of the way.
If you would have got here early, you could have got your picture with us.
Oh, I saw you guys taking the picture. So like I said, I didn't get the memo. I actually had it sitting up something last week. I almost grabbed it too. I had flamingo ornaments all over, but I don't think but anyway, to go over some recent legislation going through Congress. So the National Defense Authorization Act is one of 12 appropriation bills. It's easily the biggest bill by far in terms of funding. And it recently just got passed on Monday, I believe. So the House passed, I think, 4 or 5 different versions of the bill. And they kept going back and forth with the Senate, so it got sent out into a conference committee. So it got negotiated out basically before the vote between the House and the Senate as to what things would work, what wouldn't. And Lisa was on the conference committee and helped everything get negotiated out. So I just wanted to go over some of the things that were in there. Obviously, there's 886, just over 886 billion. So I won't go over everything into details. But I do have a packet here that goes over pretty much every section, if anybody would like to take a look at it. Some of the biggest parts of it, there's a 5.2% increase in basic pay for service members. That was the largest pay raise in over 20 years. Some of the limits they allowed was parents' bill of right at the Department of Defense schools. So parents have the ultimate right to defend anything that they would like to see their children being taught or not taught. Prohibited teaching, training, or promotion of critical race theory in the military. Eliminated the Pentagon's Countering Extremism Working Group. Implemented a hiring freeze and pay cap on the Pentagon's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. It didn't authorize any climate change programs, and it prohibited the Department of Defense from issuing new greenhouse gas rules on defense contractors. I just haven't really seen an electric tank that's going to work that great yet. It's not a lot of charging ports, most of the places we go. It also provided some Department of Defense support in securing the border. Required the DoD to use or transfer border wall materials to border states. It called for an interagency strategy to target, disrupt, and degrade threats posed by fentanyl trafficking to national security. It also fully funded the deployment of National Guard guardsmen in support of border patrol activities. Our border has been open for quite a while, and this is just another route we can go through to kind of help mitigate some of the issues we're seeing there. There's also a special inspector general to oversee and monitor all the security assistance that was sent to Ukraine. That was originally supposed to be in the Ukraine aid bills, but was stripped out, and I can't remember exactly why or what happened. That was quite a while ago now. But this will be accounting for every dollar that's been sent over in foreign aid to Ukraine. It also requires that all Department of Defense agencies and components pass an audit by the end of 2028, cutting any funds for those that failed by 1.5%. It does extend FISA in Section 702, which is what we've used to target different type of foreign entities through spying. There are some problems with it. Mainly there has been domestic spying before, and it's a big issue. There is a bill coming out likely next month. I've already seen the prequel for it, or the information for it. And I can send that out to anybody who'd like to see what it's going to look like before it comes out. But that's going to do some serious reform to FISA. We just couldn't get it through with this bill. And lastly, my favorite part. So everybody here knows about unidentified aerial phenomenon, UFOs. There's a requirement in there that the government has to disclose all the information on it within 180 days, as long as it doesn't relate to national security. So we'll finally get answers about UFOs like the ones seen over Bad Axe a few months ago. That's just the funnest part of it, in my opinion. Some other recent legislation, the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. This allows whole milk back to be served back in school. Lisa was a co-sponsor, and this just passed the House. The Biden impeachment inquiry kind of hit a snag when Biden refused to cooperate with the subpoenas issued by the committee because the impeachment inquiry hadn't gone through the House with a full vote. So recently with House Resolution 918, we put it to the House, put it to a full vote, and it passed the House. So the Biden impeachment inquiry will still be ongoing, and now the White House does have to respond to all those subpoenas. Another bill that passed is HR 357, Ensuring Accountability in Agency Rulemaking Act. That bill requires that any proposed rules subject to notice and comment procedures be issued and signed off by Senate confirmed senior appointees. And this is kind of a mitigation for all the agency staff, the ingrained bureaucrats that are just writing new rules without really any oversight or having anybody to directly report to. This also kind of helps place the blame on a specific area, holding people accountable. There's also the Lower Costs, More Transparency Act. This is actually a collection of 4 bills. The Transparency and Billing Act, Transparency and Coverage Act, Health Data Act, and Hidden Fee Disclosure Act. This bill basically opens it up so that way any surgeries any type of healthcare that you might be having going on, all that information about costs has to be made public beforehand. So you have to know what your itemized bill is going to be, at least a rough estimate, before you go through any procedures. I think it's kind of a good way to help open up the healthcare market, and you can see some increased competition that way, as well as maybe get some better healthcare. That's about it for the recent stuff. Did anybody have any questions on anything I went over, or any other legislation?
Cole, you had mentioned a little bit about border patrol. Is that we ever gonna have border patrol security on the southern border to elections, or is anything?
Yeah, that's one of the things that this does. It kind of circumvents the Department of Homeland Security, because we've had a lot of issues trying to deal with them. I mean, we just tried to impeach the Department of Homeland Security head, Alejandro Mayorkas. And that just got a motion to table. So it's going through committee right now. But that should be brought back up, I would say, the beginning of the year. But this bill allows the National Guard to kind of step in for the DHS, and allows all of our border materials to be moved down there. So it's just kind of a different route of going through that process, rather than having the Department of Homeland Security and ICE taking care of it. We're using our National Guard right now, because I mean,
So in layman's terminology, who's gonna make that happen and when? That makes sense?
so this has already been signed by the House and Senate. It's just waiting the president's signature right now. But since this was negotiated out between both parties and both chambers, it's pretty likely that the president will sign it. He may have actually signed it today. I just haven't gotten any notice yet. But I guess if you wanted more layman's term, we're just using the military instead of border patrol to help secure the border, because I mean, 2 million people is a national security threat at the very least. Does that answer that all right?
Yes, yep.
Any further questions for Cole? Cole, we certainly appreciate you being here to give us a legislative update.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay, at this time, I'll call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Dale?
Yes, Dale Houston, and I'm here to support both Cole Wood for the Drug Task Force and Kim Thompson for the Health Department. Both are actively involved in improving our living conditions here in the thumb, and they have been. And I think they would be a real blessing on the boards.
Thank you for your comments. Any further public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we will move on. That will take us directly into interviews. We're going to start out with the Drug Task Force interview. Is Jeff Gillick here?
Yes.
Jeff, if you'd step up to the podium and tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gillick. I'm requesting to be reappointed back to the Drug Task Force. I've been on the Drug Task Force for 3 years now. Part of my education is I got a master's degree in social work, a master's degree in criminal justice administration. Besides farming, for the past 26 years, I've been working with children and families through the various issues. For the last 13 years, I've had a private counseling office in Marlette, also dealing with substance abuse. So I believe I bring a different perspective to the Drug Task Force because of my working experience and education. We've done many positive things with the Drug Task Force, and I'd just like to continue doing that.
Okay. Any questions for Jeff? Hearing none, we appreciate your service and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Next up for Drug Task Force, Cole Wood. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. First, just housekeeping, I have to say, I'm officially taking my lunch break. I'm on my personal time, just so I don't get confused to be with representing the center. So I'm a 6th generation farmer here from San Luis County, farm with my family in Marlette. And for the past 3 years, I've worked in the House of Representatives. A large part of my portfolio is agriculture, healthcare, grants, and more recently, drugs has kind of fallen a lot more under the healthcare perspective or the healthcare policy. So most of my experience is on specifically policy and grants. But with that, I think that I would be a great asset for the Drug Task Force and help them potentially get more grants or be at least made aware. I'm very much looking forward to working with them, regardless of any votes today. I would like to see our community thrive as much as possible. In my professional role, I essentially cover Sand Lake here, not just Lowell and Lapeer counties, but I'm obviously biased towards Sand Lake County a little bit, growing up here and living here. And I've just seen quite an effect that drugs has had on our county and our communities. I just like to do whatever we can to help mitigate that. And I'm not here to disparage where the drug task force is currently at. I mean, just going with some quick statistics, we're down 7 out of 7 deaths per 100,000 drug overdoses in the past 4 years. So I think that they're doing a great job, and I would just like to help them out any way I can.
Very good. Any questions for Cole? Thank you for being here today, Cole.
Thank you.
Next up, we will interview for our Health and Human Services Board is Susan Baranski. Susan, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Susan Baranski. I live in the community. I have many years of experience with community mental health. And I applied to this board as representative so that I can serve my community.
Very good.
Does anybody have questions for me?
Any questions? Hearing none, we certainly appreciate your interest in the board and being here today.
Thank you.
Okay, up next will be interviews for our health board, and we will start out with Leah Lentz. Leah, welcome.
So those of you, excuse me. Okay, so those of you probably know me as the director of Sand Lake Medical Control, but I also want you to know that I've been born and raised Sand Lake County, and I've been in EMS since 2007. And we, as a health board, we like to do prevention, and I feel like I'm a good fit because of my EMS background. We do prevention out in the field with our community paramedic, and I just think I have a lot that I could offer to this board as being a member. And especially from a pre-hospital standpoint, and also from a community member my whole life.
Any questions for Leah?
No.
Thank you for being here today, Leah.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
Next up, Kimberly Thompson. Kim, welcome. How are you today?
Good. I'm Kimberly Thompson. I have lived in Sand Lake County in the Deckerville area all my life. I was a teacher before I retired. So I think I have a very good idea of what our families face health-wise and issues that come up. And as such, I feel like I could bring a new viewpoint to the health board. And thank you for having me on.
Very good. Any questions for Kim? Hearing none, we appreciate you being here today. Okay, that will conclude our interviews. We will now move into appointments. I will entertain a motion to enter Jeff Gillick and Cole Wood for nomination for a drug task force board for a 2-year term ending 12/31/25.
I'll make
that motion.
I'll support it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Heberlin with support from Commissioner Ehart. I'm sorry.
I know we're all dressed alike today. It's kind of.
I kind of pride myself on not making those mistakes, but I just made them. My apologize. We will use our ballot for voting.
We just need to carry that motion
Oh, yeah.
for the nomination.
Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to nominate these folks for the board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
I just want DTF right now.
Just one.
Yes.
He doesn't trust.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't get the Grinch to come and pick up ballots.
Unanimous for Cole Wood.
Okay, thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Well, congratulations, you are appointed to the DTF board. Jeff, we appreciate your service to the community. Moving on to the Human Health and Services Board, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Susan Baranski to a partial 3-year term expiring 10/31/25.
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Ballard. Is there support? Support from Commissioner Heberling. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Susan, congratulations. You are appointed. Do you have a little bit of time? Could you stick around until the end of the meeting?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like to have a conversation with you after if possible. At this time, I will entertain a motion for our Board of Health appointment to enter Leah Lentz and Kimberly Thompson into nomination.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, supported by Commissioner Ehart, to put Leah Lentz and Kimberly Thompson in nomination for the Health Board. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Six for Leah Lentz and 1 for Kimberly Thompson.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Leah, congratulations. You are appointed to the Board of Health. Kimberly, we always appreciate your interest in the board. That will conclude appointments to committees. I see no need for 13B or 14. There are no general resolutions. So we will move directly into committee reports, and we will start with Commissioner Moody.
Monday I had a medical care facility. There were no active COVID cases in the building at the moment. November's daily average census was 71.93, and they ordered a new washing machine. That's about it.
Very good. Thank you, John.
No committees until tomorrow.
Okay. I have a planning meeting tonight. That is all I have. Christine?
I got a lot here. Thank you, guys. I attended the LEPC meeting and the representative there that sells equipment to the fire chiefs and stuff, he was saying that he sold his first bulletproof vest to a fire department, Grant Township. Also, January 28th, Port Salak's doing the ice rescue class in the harbor. John Myers from the DNR was there, and he was talking about the equipment that the DNR have, and they're back to full staff in the unit. And that's for that report. The health board had a Christmas party Thursday at Elk Brewery, and they revealed their new website, and they're gonna roll it out to the public January. And it's more people friendly, easily friendly and whatever. And my husband was at the party and he was saying it was a very good website because he's very particular about some websites you go to and you can look and look and look and can't find what you're looking at. And this seemed very people friendly, very user friendly and whatever. And then I went to the child abuse meeting and we changed our meeting date from Monday to Tuesday instead of the third Monday of the month. We're going to the third Tuesday of the month, same time, because there's the holidays on Monday. And this way we don't have to reschedule and whatnot. And then I went to the MTA Christmas party and there was a lot of the townships were represented. There was only a few townships that had nobody there. Leslie did a nice presentation on election and it seemed to go over well. And then Region 7. If you know anybody that's homebound that needs to get vaccinated for COVID or whatever, there's a number that you can call. You can take a picture of the flyer and it's a service that they provide for homebound people. And let's see. And I had a health board meeting this morning and COVID cases are going up. There seem to be, people are getting more sick with this strain that's coming out. They talked about obesity in children, that because they're not getting out and playing as much, they're more on video games and stuff. And let's see. We did the evaluation of the medical director and the health officer. And they're coming out with a new vaccine for breast cancer and skin cancer. And they seem to be very promising. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you, Christine. Bill?
Recycling and landfill met, Nathan's been meeting with surrounding counties in regards to the state's materials management plan. And we're looking at doing some upgrades on the interior of the recycling building by painting and also upgrading the restrooms. And if anybody's been over the recycle, the cement work's all done. Man, looks really good. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Bill. Gary?
Since our last meeting, we had a parks board meeting, taught a lot about the Delaware Park. Tonight have a planning meeting. Thursday, I have a meeting. I'm loading up my Ford pickup with Christmas gifts and heading down south to see our two daughters, our son-in-laws and our grandchildren. And if the weather is good, I'll try to pry myself away, come back for a January 2nd meeting, set beside these two. A rose between two thorns.
Some things can't. There you go. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you, Gary. Roger?
Expect a report when you get back from vacation. How warm it was. Parks met on the 5th. The November meeting minutes would be in your communications. January 9th, we have a bid opening on the, I gotta think my projects, Evergreen Park Playground and Kayak Launch project. So we did have, I believe, 9 contractors express an interest. How many will bid, I don't know, but it looks favorable. The more bids we get, the more competitive they are. I finally got all the reimbursement documents downloaded. I had to wait for a couple. So my Friday morning was spent downloading and explaining each set of documents. And then yesterday morning, I received the final 2. So I submitted that for reimbursement. The DNR will review those documents. And if I've missed anything or they have any questions, once that's done, we'll get $80,200 back on that Forester Park Playground. Evergreen, that septic project that Nathan mentioned from the ARPA funds. We're hoping they start on that yet this week. Myself, I'll be surprised with the holiday coming. But I was up there Friday. They do have the concrete structures, the manholes, piping. It's all been staked out, water lines, electric, everything. So they're ready to start digging. They expect that will take about 2.5 months. So ETF met on the 11th. You'd have those minutes in your communications. CMH, I had program committee last week, the 12th. Yesterday was community education. And I have a board meeting at 5 today, and we're having pizza. I'm excited. So that's all I got. And Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. I see no need for unfinished business, so we'll move directly into new business. And we will start with FA 106-23, award and authorization to purchase computer workstations.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes the purchase of 15 computer workstations for the front of the court and sheriff's office from Dell Technologies at a cost of $1,228.20 each for a total cost not to exceed $18,423, and 15 licenses from Business Suite at $320.29 each for a total cost not to exceed $4,804.35, with funding from the 2023 Information Technology Budget and reimbursement of 66% for 9 of the computer workstations from the state of Michigan front of the court contract.
Support. I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion?
This is a revised bid, correct?
Yeah.
The numbers have changed.
Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion related to FA 106-23? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 183-23, approval of 2023 current claims.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2023 identified on the accounts payable report dated December 19th, 2023 for the general bank account in the amount of $70,792.46.
Report. I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella. I have support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 184-23, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 185-23, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged in November 2023.
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged in November 2023 as follows. $575,921.60 in ACH payments, $47,078.31 in online bill pay, and $274,089.63 in checks for a grand total of $897,089.54.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Commissioner Moody. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 186-23, award bid for updating and redesigning of county website.
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes revise the bid for the purpose of updating and redesigning the county's website at a cost not to exceed $27,700 for the project setup, plus an annual fee for years 2 through 5 of $6,900 with funding from the Information Systems 2023 budget. Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Now we move to our salmon color sheet for our add-on items. We'll begin with FA 022-23, award the bid for architectural and engineering for the boiler replacement.
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Unified Building Systems to bid for the purpose of architectural and engineering for the boiler replacement project at a cost not to exceed $12,750 with funding from ARPA funds.
Support.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 064-23, award the bid for removal and replacement of boiler.
St. Clair County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the Wards Lakeshore Improvements LLC the bid for the removal and replacement of the boiler at the courthouse building at a cost not to exceed $195,083.50 with funding from ARPA for immediate approval.
I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella, support from Commissioner Ehart. Is there discussion?
This is the one that was already took place, but
Correct. There was the crane, there was added costs.
Yeah.
I was actually in the basement today and looked at the new boiler system down there. It will blow your mind how small the new boiler is compared to the old one.
Oh, yeah.
The efficiency that they get out of them.
I don't even want to see that.
You probably never want to see the
I
basement.
dealt with that mess for 15 years.
It looks a lot better than it once did. Any further discussion related to FA 064-23? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That will conclude new business. So at this time, I will call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Seeing none, we'll move on. I see no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. Before we adjourn, Nathan, I thought everything you brought up during your administrator report, I just wanted to thank you for compiling that, putting that together, and to resonate what Nathan said. I do appreciate everyone on the board and the team that we've become and working together along with all the other elected officials in the county, department heads and employees. It takes a team to pull all that stuff together, and administration, you guys did a great job this year, Nathan. So Thank you.
I really appreciate working with this board. The last one was good. This one is better. I appreciate the fact that people reach out, ask questions prior to meetings, and that a lot of that is settled. We had some rather lengthy meetings before, which is totally unnecessary. This is the way things should be run. There are things that are necessary for discussion, with public here, but, it's good to get things done.
Very good. Anything else to come before the Board of Commissioners? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 1:44.
I'll make that motion.
Support, I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, support from Commissioner Sarkel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, you can stay.